Nancy Pelosi is the most important woman in Washington. The leader of the House Democrats is waging a high-stakes battle to remove the President of the United States. But if she wants to win, Speaker Pelosi needs to win over the American public, including some Republicans.
We have to pray for his health because this was a very serious meltdown on the part of the president.
This photo with Pelosi as the only woman at the table was supposed to be an insult, captioned, "Nervous Nancy has a meltdown," by Donald Trump and tweeted out to his millions of followers. But it backfired. The photo of their first face-to-face meeting since the start of the impeachment inquiry broke the internet with memes and hashtags like hashtag Pelosi owns Trump. She made it her Twitter profile picture. How times have changed. Not long ago, there were calls for Pelosi to step down.
8 of the new Democrats will not vote for Pelosi.
The first step to getting to a winning strategy is a change in leadership.
I've been calling for our leader to step down.
She was seen as too old and politically stale. But then Madam Speaker regained the gavel. During a meeting at the White House, another viral moment thanks to a killer coat and some serious shades. The new power suit for women, said Twitter. Red coat, sunglasses, nerves of steel, intelligence. Hashtag Pelosi. The media's taken note, too. The New Yorker called her wry and fearless, and Vanity Fair a political grandmaster.
Thank you for coming. How are things going in Washington? Anything interesting happening?
On the late-night talk show circuit, she was applauded like an A-list celebrity.
Which housewife does Nancy Pelosi most resemble? And what did you think of her shady clapping at Trump?
I didn't think it was that shady.
And now, signs she might be winning over the American public. Some of the latest polls suggest a majority of Americans now want Trump impeached, and that includes even a few Republicans. Joining us from Babylon, New York, is former U.S. Congressman Steve Israel. He served the House for 16 years and also chaired the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. So thanks so much for joining us. Been watching this and wondering, Nancy Pelosi said no for so long to an impeachment inquiry, and now she's saying yes. What was the turning point? What was she waiting for?
There definitely was a turning point in this, Wendy. And the turning point was the phone call that President Trump made to the president of Ukraine. Until that point, Speaker Pelosi was really cognizant of the political implications and consequences of impeachment. There are many House Democrats in Republican districts who were concerned that an impeachment process would be risky for them politically. But when that call was made and the whistleblower spoke out, at that very moment, Speaker Pelosi and virtually every House Democrat realized that they had reached a moment where the politics was less important than protecting and defending the Constitution of the United States. And that's why you saw this fairly quick change.
Why didn't she go before? I mean, we had the Mueller report. There were all kinds of arguments, I suppose, to try and take down the president. But why didn't she move earlier?
This was different. In this case, it was clear, it was undeniable that the President of the United States engaged in corrupt behavior and violated his oath of office. And in fact, Pelosi's decision to bring the caucus or join the caucus and lead the caucus to an impeachment inquiry was borne out by public opinion. American support for an impeachment inquiry was not very high after the Mueller report and wasn't even that high before the whistleblower report. But after the whistleblower report, it increased to into the high 50s. And so Nancy Pelosi's, her guiding counsel is public sentiment is everything. It wasn't just that Nancy Pelosi changed her mind, but that the public changed its mind and now supports an impeachment inquiry.
You wrote an article not too long ago for The Atlantic saying that she has this Abraham Lincoln thing about public sentiment. But I'm wondering, is it about following public sentiment or trying to shape it?
You know, in Nancy Pelosi's office, there's only one thing that hangs on her wall, and it's a portrait of Abraham Lincoln when he was a member of Congress in the 1840s. And I sat with her for 16 years in that room as a Democratic leader. And when we had tough decisions, she would point to that portrait and say, public sentiment is everything. Now, that was very misunderstood. Her view is not you just follow public opinion. Her imperative is you create public opinion. You shape public opinion. you make sure that you're bringing the public along with you, not that you are going along with the public.
She's almost become like a superstar now. She's a celebrity. She goes on all these talk shows. Everybody's writing about her. I mean, is she a superstar?
Well, she was always a superstar, but here's what I think is most interesting. She was challenged for the leadership when the new Congress convened in January of 2019. And there were a lot of criticisms about her. Some people said she was too old. Some people said, she's a has-been. And several Democrats tried to defeat her on the floor of the House and take her out. Got to tell you, that view is no longer held by any Democrat. Even those who opposed her realize that she has kept the Democrats together. She's actually more popular with the American public than she ever has been. And I can't imagine what would have happened to the Democratic caucus in the House of Representatives had she lost that leadership battle and we had a different Democratic leader or Speaker of the House.
Thanks so much for joining us. Steve Israel, former Democratic congressman.
Thank you, Wendy.